Well, hello everyone and happy Monday. It is digital host A.J. Wuest here on this Monday, welcoming you back to Before the Four, the live stream where I take you through some of 48's top news stories and then some before our 4 o'clock newscast. It was kind of a slower day in the newsroom today, but of course we still have a bunch of stories to bring to you all, and we're going to end it off with a lot of fun stories, some fun stories I saw, and then of course Facebook fun. I know you all watching right now, you're fired up for Facebook fun. You just can't wait. That's what it is. But anyway, welcome in everyone, wherever you're watching, whether it's on Facebook, YouTube, or the 48 Now live stream. Thank you so much for watching and starting your week off here on Before the Four. And with all of that said, I believe it is about that time we jump into some of the day's top stories. And starting things off in Huntsville, where today police identified the victim of a shooting that occurred over the weekend. Now, yesterday, police responded to a shooting just before 5 a.m. on Lakeview Drive. When they arrived on scene, they say they found a man suffering from a gunshot wound. That man was identified as 35-year-old James Grays, who unfortunately died at the scene. Police say the shooting happened as Grays was leaving a party that took place on Lakeview Drive. So far, no arrests have been made. But now a story out of Decatur. A woman who was charged in connection to 2 separate murders was recently granted a mental evaluation to see if she's fit to stand trial. Now, Mary Hughes, that is who you're seeing on screen, was charged after the deaths of Mimi Marquette and James Jefferson earlier this year. Hughes' attorney asked for the evaluation. He argues that she's been hospitalized for mental health several times in the past, and that she hears voices and also hallucinates. The State Department of Mental Health will perform the evaluation. There's no word when that evaluation will take place, but Hughes remains in the Morgan County Jail. And now in Boaz, where a man is dead after a single vehicle crash in Etowah County Saturday afternoon. Now, according to the Alabama Law Enforcement Agency, 64-year-old Tracy L. Carroll was killed when the Harley-Davidson motorcycle he was driving left the roadway and struck a utility pole. Carroll was pronounced dead at the scene. Now, the crash occurred on Lawson Gap Road near Alabama 179 just before 4 p.m. Saturday. Aaliyah is continuing to investigate the incident. And a scary situation for an ambulance crew and patient unfolded overnight in Marshall County. The sheriff's office says a Marshall Medical Center ambulance was taking a patient to Decatur around 1 a.m. when another driver threw a full can of soda at the ambulance. Doing so smashed the windshield. Now, the incident happened on Union Grove Road. The ambulance was able to stop and thankfully no one was injured. Officials say another ambulance was sent to pick up the patient. Now, deputies took a report, but no arrests have been made at this time. The ambulance has been sent for repairs. But now, I think it is time we take a look at what's going on with the weather this week. 48 First Alert Chief Meteorologist Brad Travis is here with your latest forecast. How's it looking this week, Brad?
AJ, we've got rain coming in. The first half of the day tomorrow is going to be wet. Scattered light to moderate showers, even some thunderstorms. The heaviest rain is likely going to end up 2 hours south. And as we go through the afternoon, the winds start picking up out of the north. Here just before 4 o'clock, we've had a very warm day. Now, we're not looking at any severe weather tomorrow. So far, so good as far as the month of November goes. Again, we are in our secondary tornado season, but things look pretty quiet, even in the near future. A little haze out there in the sky, the clouds increasing, and it will get cloudy overnight tonight. Rain could move in as early as midnight, but definitely by 4 o'clock in the morning, some scattered showers and thunderstorms. The gusty southeast winds will be replaced with gusty northwest winds tomorrow behind the front. We do have some stormy weather out west today. Tornado watch down into Louisiana, and just a big swirl of low pressure, a lot of rain out there towards Wichita and parts of the rest of Kansas and Nebraska. Here's 6 o'clock tomorrow morning. It will be raining just about everywhere. The winds will be out of the south at about 10, gusting to 20 to 25 miles an hour. and the rain will taper off quickly right after the lunch hour, but it still remains cloudy, and it will be quite a bit cooler. By 10 o'clock tomorrow night, you're showing wind gusts there, but our temperatures will be dropping, and that's going to be the real story the rest of the week. A windy day Wednesday, winds sustained around 20, gusting to 30 miles an hour, and that'll continue until the sun sets. And then as we get into Thursday, we have even more windy conditions. It's going to get colder over the next 3 days, so get ready. 69 tomorrow, 62 Wednesday, and 50. That's it for the high on Thursday, and some overnight lows are going to be in the upper 30s, maybe even mid 30s by the end of the week with the scattered frosts. Again, no real threat for severe weather, but a few storms overnight tonight and early tomorrow morning. Back to you.
Well, thanks, Brad. And now a story out of the Shoals, an update to a story we brought to you around a month ago. A man who was accused of murder in Colbert County was indicted earlier this month. This all according to court documents 48 News recently obtained. DeCoven Williams, who you're currently seeing on screen, was charged with the murder of Nathan Littleton. Littleton was found dead inside a home on Paul E. Johnson Drive in Tuscumbia back on October 6th. Authorities say he was shot multiple times in the back. Now, in the case, Williams is claiming self-defense, stating Littleton was trying to rob him and that he did what he had to do. Williams remains in the Colbert County Jail on a $350,000 bond. He has an arraignment hearing on November 21st. And a wrongful death lawsuit was recently filed over the death of a Lawrence County man who was mauled by dogs earlier this year. The family of Willard Norton, who you're seeing on screen, filed the lawsuit at the end of October. The lawsuit claims that the dog's owners, Jonathan Nix and Melissa Todd, knew their dogs were a danger to others, yet allowed them to roam freely, resulting in 83-year-old Norton being mauled to death in his own yard. Nix and Todd have not been criminally charged for this death. Since the mauling, the Lawrence County Commission has adopted a leash law requiring pets to be confined to their owners' yards. And now a story staying in the Shoals. The legacies of two beloved University of North Alabama mascots were honored earlier today in a celebration of life ceremony. The ceremony honored Una and Leo, the two beautiful lions you are seeing on screen right now. 48's Aria Pons was at the ceremony today, and she'll have more for you all coming up in our evening newscast. So make sure that you stick around for that awesome story. But now we're going to head to a little bit of national news. People in Columbus, Ohio are reacting today following a controversial march by a group of apparent neo-Nazis this weekend. That march was briefly disrupted by an altercation, during which one of the masked marchers used what looked like pepper spray on another person. Kyle Beachy has the story.
These reports from Columbus police show there was a physical altercation when those masked men were confronted right here on High Street. These reports also show they began using pepper spray, which I confirmed with several witnesses. This is video taken by a witness. The group was engaged in verbal shouting, then sprayed what appears to be mace toward people on the street.
They were screaming slurs and threats, and they just walked on by and continued on down the street screaming their obscenities. Keon
Tullius was out for lunch Saturday. He said he didn't believe what he was seeing until the march got closer. Then he took this video. We're showing you this video only once to give a clear picture of what happened.
They were allowed to perpetuate racial hate. It sends a very threatening message, quite frankly. I feel like most people are feeling very unsafe right now.
You know, I think what we're seeing is people who are a lot more blatant with their racism, their hatred, and it's just sad.
Local attorney Sean Walton helped organize a different march on Sunday, one that followed the same route but spread a much different message.
It's really important to show that we don't have to be afraid, that we are stronger together, and that we are a united front here in Columbus for all people.
A message of unity in the face of hate.
We wanted to make a statement today that we're here, we're watching, and that we are willing to stand up for ourselves, but also that we believe that our leaders will stand up for us and will enact legislation that prevents this.
Columbus police were called to the area Saturday. The Short North Civic Association posted on Facebook with information about safety resources that are present in the Short North. not just during incidents, but on a regular basis.
It doesn't have any place in our state. It doesn't have any place in our city. It is so hateful. It is so evil. It shouldn't be here.
Well, thank you. And now let's talk about President-elect Trump's transition, as several of his top picks run into headwinds on Capitol Hill. NBC senior Washington correspondent Hallie Jackson gives us a closer look.
This morning, President-elect Trump signaling a major move on immigration.